Just like Domino. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 330 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and first of all, I would like you to know that this setup is slightly different. I'm using a different lens on my camera. I hope that you can see me well. It's just a bit more convenient. I don't have to wiggle around with the zoom. And I think you can see me pretty well, but you can let me know in the comments or overall if anybody will notice a difference. It's because of that. Second thing, before we start, for this week, it's going to be a bit all over the place, the episodes, because I'll be away again for the weekend. So I still have to understand what I will do until Friday for the weekend. You'll still have the weekend drops as usual. But yeah, for the days to come, there might be another recap. There might be something different. We'll see. Now, before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode, remember that liking and subscribing really mean a lot for me. They're just one click, but they really make the difference. Thank you very much for considering it. Now, coming to the topic of today, it's going to be pretty similar to the previous one, but not so inspirational because it's very personal. And it really checks the box for me in the necessity of this podcast. So today was one of these days where I wanted to do a lot and managed to do very little. And the checklist at the end of the day was still full. And there is a very precise reason because that happened. And I would like to share it with you so that you don't do the same mistake. The main issue, and it's something, again, that it's very personal, but I feel like it might be something that it can happen to a lot of people. And that is not laying out your tasks or issues. Currently, I have a lot that is going on in my mind. I have a lot of things to do at work, outside of work, for myself. And this big list of things constantly piles up like dominoes. So if you know, I don't know if you can call it a game, but you know, this moment in which you put every piece one after another to form something, and the goal is just to make sure that if one falls, all of them follow. And this is the way that I really like to structure my tasks and the things that I do, because I know that if I start the right way and I keep on going, all of them will fall, and at the end of the day, everything will be clear. What was happening today was that I was kind of pushing on one of them. Maybe it was falling, nothing was happening. I was adjusting just the one in front of it. 2 were falling, nothing else was following. Then I would go back and actually put up one of the one that I put down because I wasn't sure if I really completed it, and the circle just kept on going. What this led to? A lot of mental overload, a lot of indecisiveness, and all of this led to procrastination. So there were a lot of things that I could have completed. Unfortunately, some of them I did because I was time constrained or I was forced to do them that way. So that helped. But overall, I feel like I still struggle a lot to get to the bottom of things. And here I would say that there are 2 main problems and main reasons why this is happening. And it's funny because, you know, many of the solutions I have laid out for you in the Shower Podcast. But indeed, the difficult part is remembering about them in the right moment and actually having the mental capacity to do them. And today was not the case. But for tomorrow, we will get on another level. Coming back to the problems, it's indeed this tendency on keeping everything in your head, because in that way, you don't have something to look at, but it's just what's bumping on your mind. So the amount of problems and amount of things you need to do is lowered. On one end, it definitely feels good, and it's something that can help at times. I have to say that it's a way that I like to live my days when possible. Like in the back of my head, I know that I have some things to do that might be important, but they are pretty far ahead in the future. So I don't really need to stress about them because even if I did, like nothing would really change. And I should indeed focus on the things that I should, let's say, solve. The problem is that things that I need to solve are kind of are not some must do's, but are just some recommendations. So it would be best if I manage to complete that task today, but if I do it tomorrow, it's not that big of a deal. What I pay, it's just maybe stress, of course, money in some cases, and what I gain is this temporary stress relief that I didn't have to do it today, I could focus on something else. And the other issue, it's connected to the previous one, it's the fact that the way that I kind of put myself in this situation, so the whole day passes and I still felt productive, I still felt like I did stuff, but in the end it led me nowhere. And it's a topic that I've discussed a lot of times in the Shower podcast. And it's this, and it actually relates back to episode 1. It's the fact that I didn't commit to doing. I made a ton of research. I make sure I took in consideration so many things, but then at the end of the day, I didn't pull the trigger. And by filling my day with research and making myself think that all of this, had a reason and it was going somewhere, I kind of felt good for myself. But again, facts are the only things that speak and actually you can look at, and today there were none. So my recommendations for you, if you ever felt like this and you want to kind of deal with it, is to first of all accept the situation and accept the fact that you might not have the mental capacity to do these things, as it was for me today. Find a solution, and in this case, the strategy is just lay out all the things that you have to do so you know what you're looking at, and you can actually check upon of these things, not forgetting and remembering constantly about the things you need to do, and committing to doing. So if you actually decided on something, if you made the research, just go with it. It might not be the best solutions possible, and if you had more time, that might be the thing that you wanted to do, but today is not the case. Just go for it and do it. Having said that, that was all for today. Thank you very much for listening. As I said, very personal one, but hey, this is the reason why this podcast exists in the first place, so I better get something out of it. If you made it so far, thank you very much for listening. As always, feel free to interact with this content in any way, shape, or form you like. And as usual, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and I'll see you tomorrow.